Hello, friends, and welcome back to Soul Channel. I'm so excited that I get to bring some new episodes to you because, like today, the guests that are coming on to share their wisdom with you are going to blow your mind. Soul Channel is a place to cultivate clarity, to normalize spirituality, and come together in community so that we all grow and evolve. And just as we were talking before we came on live, Donna, my dear, dear friend, is one of those people absolutely dedicated to ensure you have everything you need to evolve. Donna, welcome and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Teresa. It's my honor to be here today. I love spending time with you. So thank you for having me.
Me too. Me too. We always have the best conversations and now we get to share them. So tell me a little bit about yourself for those who have not met you yet. Tell me about you, what you're up to, what you've done in the past, and your journey to get where you are today.
Yeah. Um, I spent 28 years in the corporate sector in hospitality marketing. I climbed my little high heel shoes all the way to the top of the ladder. I got up there and I looked around and I thought to myself, well, all this isn't all that. And I moved myself through some really deep discontent for a long time. I wouldn't look at it. I knew it was there, but I sort of didn't want to make eye contact with it, you know?
Yeah.
And that led to a lot of imbalance, a lot of misalignment in my body, which showed up as a frozen shoulder, which was really a beautiful metaphor because deep down, I knew that I didn't want to be doing what I was doing anymore, but I wasn't taking any action to move forward. I wasn't doing anything. So I was frozen, you know? And it was
Yeah.
like such a gorgeous metaphor of being frozen. And I went crying to a psychic. I went to an intuitive. And, I had
Oh,
done this many, many, many times before in my life. I gotta find my purpose, like this had been in me for so long, just uh that quest, that
yeah.
ache of searching for something that you don't quite know what it was. And as I say that and I hear myself saying that out loud, it's like my purpose is not to be a spiritual psychology life coach. My purpose was really to find the divine and to find the divine within me.
Hmm.
But as I went to her crying, how do I find my purpose? She said, Donna, your guides are spelling it out for me. Spiritual psychology. I said, what in the hell is spiritual psychology? Exactly. So, I went home and consulted the other oracle. I Googled it, and I very quickly found my way to the University of Santa Monica, which was offering a master's program in spiritual psychology.
Wow.
And boy, I'll tell you, I mean, my ego had 100,000 reasons why it was not a good idea to go anywhere near the University of Santa Monica or enroll in that program. And I went back and forth over months
Yeah.
trying to move through my own inner obstacles, my own inner objections.
Yeah.
And this one admissions counselor, bless her, like these are those people that are put in our lives for those nanoseconds that literally change the trajectory of our lives. Veronica Allweiss, she said to me, Donna, right? Like she's already answered 30 emails for me. It's gone on for months. I can't make up my mind. Donna, why don't you just come for one weekend and see what happens?
Yeah.
Oh, the relief of hearing that. It was such a permission slip, right? It's so simple that we can do
Yeah.
that for ourselves, but it wasn't sort of within the framework of me being able to get there mentally, to be able to. Anyways,
Well,
I went for one weekend.
we're trained to make decisions based on the whole journey, not
Yes.
just to focus on the next step, right? We don't
Yes.
give ourselves permission to dip our toe in or take one step or move in a single direction. We've got to see that whole path laid out in
Right.
front of us. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
It it does not work that way. I love that you're highlighting this because do you play chess?
I don't.
Well, I always think of the chessboard, and that's what life is like. It's like
Yeah.
when we make one move on that chessboard, the whole landscape changes.
Yeah.
Just one little move, and the whole landscape changes. And this is what life is really like, is when we take that one little step, the whole landscape changes. So when we get fixated on, I got to go this way because I drew out the
Yeah.
plan and I got the 29 steps to get there and the return on the investment and how much time it's going to take, then we hurt ourselves trying to
Yeah.
force our way onto something that is no longer relevant
Yeah.
because the landscape changed and we didn't know it. So, yes, these one little steps at a time is the way
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. It is. And and really it's about finding that inner courage to take that step, which it sounds like the universe sent you an angel that said, "Hey Donna, guess what? It's not that
Guess what?
hard." Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I enrolled. After that one weekend, I went running home begging my husband to do it with me. I'm like, this is going to change the rest of our lives. Like I knew it. You know what I mean? It was big.
Yeah.
And that one little step turned into 5 years of study,
Yeah.
where not only did I earn a master's in spiritual psychology, I went on to get the emphasis in consciousness, health, and healing. I got the coaching certification, I got the facilitation certification, like all of it. A
Yeah.
year in, I resigned from the Ritz-Carlton, where I was working with this high-powered career life that I had. And even when I resigned, Teresa, there was still nothing in this framework that knew that I would go on to have these beautiful, intimate, sacred, heart opening, vulnerable, transparent, soul conversations with women,
Yeah.
one woman at a time. You know, if you had
Yeah.
told me that, I would have said, oh, yeah, no, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was shown, as I'm Italian on both sides of my family. I got a thick
Oh.
head. I need the poster board to like fall out of the sky and hit me in the head so that I can pay attention.
Wow.
So I initially hung out a shingle as a marketing consultant because that's what made sense to my
Right.
ego mind.
Yeah.
And I went on through this program to unravel all of the limiting programs that were my framework, my construct that
Hmm.
was keeping me trapped in a world of make believe, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But I call it living by default when we adopt all these societal norms. So, would you mind sharing? And this is completely optional, but what were some of the key limiting beliefs that was holding you back?
Yeah,
What were some of the things um, that kept you
yeah,
stuck in in the framework you had built over a lifetime, and which on paper, man, you were successful.
right.
You were highly successful, you were well respected, you were learned, I mean,
Had stock options and golden handcuffs, all of it,
yeah, you checked all the
all of it.
boxes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
checked all the boxes. So one of the key limitations, and this I think is part of all of our upbringing,
Yeah.
is this idea of hard work and sacrifice, right? Like I had worked hard for 28 years. I had sacrificed whatever, various things over 28 years to sort of get to where I was.
Yeah.
And so here I am in the middle of my life. And something else that was really significant about this time that I want to mention is I turned 45 years old. And when
Mm.
I turned 45, that was very significant for me because my father died when he was 45. So all of a sudden,
Oh,
it was like this inner bell went off inside of me. And
yeah.
I was in a really big rush, sort of to figure out what is my life about.
Yeah.
So there I was thinking, I don't have another 28 years to like have to rebuild. That was number one. I really believed that there was no money in coaching,
Hmm.
and that was totally false.
Yeah.
As I began to become aware of some of these really incredible coaches, you know, $30,000 a year to coach with them, $100,000 a year to coach with them. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to coach with me, but it
Yeah.
expanded my awareness
Yeah.
to a place of what was possible instead of buying into the limitation. And I started meeting other women who were full-time professional coaches earning a multiple six-figure salary. And I was like, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. Right. So there
Yeah.
was a little bit of that. There was finding the examples of people
Yeah.
who were actually doing what I wanted to do. And I didn't even know that I wanted to do that at the time, but that was a very helpful strategy. Um, Another big misbelief is that you have to wake up magically one day and you're going to be transported from here to there. And
Yeah.
so there's this level of learning. And, it's so funny. I did an episode on spiritual ambition last week called The Way Through. And I bring us through the spiral of transformation and these four fields that we have to cross through, right? And first, we got to get out of the comfort field, which is really not so comfortable because
Yeah.
when we're in there and we're experiencing discontent and, you know, there's no inspiration, there's no life force, we're on the conveyor belt. Like, that's not what we came here for. We came here to
No.
live. But like you were saying before, we've got to make that leap and face our fear. And it's I define it in the air of the leap. There's like a magic elixir that happens. And this is how fear is transformed into courage.
Hmm.
And once we give ourselves that sort of voltage of inner esteem, then we realize we're in a phase of growth. And in that phase of growth, we need to build ourselves a bridge. And I built myself a bridge. So here I was on the side attending this master's program, taking really a journey into my own heart and excavating all of these limiting beliefs that held the construct in place,
Hmm.
which was very much part of the study of the program. I was the subject matter, so it was super
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
But I,
Which is where everything needs to be grounded in. I mean, if we don't do our own work, we can't
exactly,
be in service. Yeah. Agreed.
exactly. So the bridge that I built was when I resigned my position and before I really was aware that I would be acting in the serving as a soul catalyst and a spiritual psychology life coach. I hung out a shingle as a marketing consultant because I could, because it made sense, because I had contacts in the industry, because I had a reputation. I just dramatically reduced the amount of time that I was working. So it was like 50% on my studies and 50% on being a consultant. And, when I started out on that path. Like, I really thought that that's what I was going to do. I thought that would be the new life because I think we have signposts or pillars, I like to call them, inside of ourselves where I knew that I wanted to make a bigger contribution to the world. I knew that I wanted more freedom and autonomy. I was tired of
Mhm.
reporting to, yeah. So there was that. I knew I knew some core pillars that were
Right.
like my guideposts that helped shine the light on the dark path of like not knowing where I was going. And spirit filled in the blanks for me because I sort of got tricked into becoming a coach, which is a whole other story. But once we can open our awareness to and relax a little bit to the
Yeah.
fact that we're in a growth phase. And I think that this is another limitation, right? When you are in the middle of your life and you've got a big career behind you, we're brought up to believe, well, I should know that. I should have it all figured out. I should have
Yeah.
all the answers. And,
Yeah.
in the corporate arena, there's a lot of pressure for that. So we buy into that. We buy
Hmm.
into the misunderstanding that we're supposed to have it all figured out. Well,
Yeah.
when we're in the growth field, it's about making mistakes. It's about falling down and getting back up. It's about learning and growth and evolution. And if we already know, well, then what the hell are we going to learn?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
that switch right there in our awareness that, like, oh, I'm in a learning phase in my life right now. And I'm going to let that be all the things that it is.
Yeah.
And over time, when we keep showing up and we commit and we dedicate ourselves, then we find ourselves in the success field, right? And it's like we're operating with all the plates in the air and we're having fun. And there's like, we have a certain level of mastery over what it is and what we're doing.
Yeah.
But then what happens, Teresa? What happens is that too morphs right back into the comfort field once again.
Yeah.
And we keep going
Yeah.
because the soul is here to expand. The soul is not here to like figure out the autoplay program.
Right. Right. We're here to learn. Yeah.
We're here to learn.
We're here to
And if
learn.
we're
We're here
not
to grow.
learning,
Yeah.
we're going to get our ass kicked.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And so as you are launching into marketing with the side of coaching and mentoring, I how did you move from how did you let marketing go? How did you let corporate go finally and say, okay, I'm done. I hear you.
I,
I got this.
I I love that you're asking me this question. I'm trying to get my book in your frame right
Oh,
there. My book, Original Wisdom: Harness the Power of the Authentic You, is the journey. And there's so many like divine moments of synchronicity that were just mind blowing.
right.
To the universe had my back like every step of the way through this
Yeah.
journey. And my father was a banker. And after he died, there was a long trend that continued for all of my sisters and myself, where we knew he was leaving us pennies. He would leave us pennies. And we knew that that was a sign, he was saying hello from the other side. And the day came when I'm doing both, right? I'm doing marketing and I'm doing coaching, and I have one foot in each camp. And I know that's not the way to do it. I know that I have
Hmm.
to be all in, right? And it's scary that I'm going to unplug from this security blanket that was consulting and
Yeah.
marketing. And I'm going to say I'm all in the world of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to the bank. And when I first started my company, it was called Donna Bond Marketing. And then I switched the name of it to Donna Bond Professional Coaching and Consulting. And I went to the bank to change the name of my bank account. And I'm standing in line for what seemed to be an inordinate amount of time as the teller behind the window is like trying to somehow make this change. And it's like taking forever. And I'm kind of annoyed that I was there for as long as I was.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing whatever system technology magic he has to be doing behind the scenes. And he comes to me with a penny and he says, "Okay, I've closed one account and opened the other account, and here you go. Here's the penny." And I'm like, "Why are you giving me a penny?" And he said, "It's just a formality. It's what we do when we close one account and open another account. We have a transaction that occurs of 1 cent, and here's your 1 cent." Well,
Wow.
if I hadn't have been standing there as long as I was, th- I would have missed it. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah.
And I feel it right now. Like I knew that that was my father. Like, you go, girl. You're on the right track. Like you're healing all the family lineage of the
Yeah.
hard work and sacrifice. You're doing it. And like I knew, and I still have that penny somewhere. And it was a very significant wink, from the
Yeah.
universe. And I've had a lot of those along the
Yeah.
way. And I have two younger sisters and they're both slaving away in corporate land. And it's not a cakewalk to be an entrepreneur by any means.
No, it isn't.
And I wouldn't trade it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade the creativity, the autonomy, the flexibility, the freedom, the all of it, And
Yeah.
I also consider myself fortunate that having a career in the hotel business really gave me a true sense of entrepreneurship and understanding all the different facets that go into running a business. And I think sometimes this is where coaches struggle because we have coaching and then we have the business of coaching, right?
Right.
We have
Yeah.
our craft, whatever that is, if we're a healer or a facilitator or a speaker or whatever that is, but then we have the business itself.
Yeah.
And these are two things.
Yeah.
And by all means, I've made 100,000 mistakes, but I learn and I keep on going.
Yeah. That's part of the journey. We don't stop learning. And, I always think that the things that have the most meaning that we learn are the ones that are the hardest fought for,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think I want to stop and I want to highlight that concept that life will never be all about chasing butterflies and rainbows. There will always be a component of your life where you're being asked to stretch. That's the implicit agreement we have
It's the
in
implicit
being
agreement.
human.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that phrase. It's so true.
Yeah,
And it's the implicit agreement that is built into the fulfillment of who we've come here to be.
yeah,
And I became a guide for the Gene Keys, and I've been studying the Gene Keys since 2017. And the first time I saw my profile, I was like, "Oh, none of this is me." And I'm
famous last words,
currently,
right?
famous last words, I'm currently moving through the Sage's Golden Path Retreat with Richard Rudd, who's teaching live for the last time. And then
Yeah,
he's on to like his next endeavor. And so I'm back at the beginning once again with the gene keys. And last night I was contemplating the shadow of my life's work, which is the shadow of control. And what I'm aware of is that I cannot be me. I cannot fulfill what my soul has come here to fulfill without the learnings that are connected to
Mhm.
these shadow patterns
Yeah.
and without the learnings that are built into our life,
Yeah.
because that's how we get there.
Yeah.
And man, these things are not easy.
No, agreed.
They are not easy.
But they can be graceful if you reach out and do them with someone. I think when
Mm,
we isolate, and humans tend to isolate when things become uncertain,
mm,
scary.
mm.
We tend to pull in because we think now there's something wrong with us. So we
Yeah,
hide. And we
right.
think, well, I don't want anybody to see this side of me. And yet, as Brene Brown talks about forever, be vulnerable, share that. Because the moment that you share that vulnerable moment of insecurity and uncertainty, you've just now opened the door to answers. When you hold
Yeah,
it here, well, you can't see anything when it's all here. You have
right.
to open to look at it. And I want to touch back on something. It's control. Girl. You and I are on the same page with that one because I thought for most of my life, specifically in corporate, if I was in control, everything was going to be fine, right? That's what we're taught.
Right, right.
I was speaking with a client this week and control came up. And forever, as a part of the spiritual journey, we learn to release control. But that's a human thing, right? We always black and white, yes, no. We always create polarity in
Yeah,
concepts. And
yeah,
it's actually after we create the polarity and we bring it back to the center.
yeah,
So, where is the control that we have in our lives? It's in our heart, it's in what we desire, it's in how we respond to the world, right? So, control, and I'm bringing this up because when it came up for this client, it was not the message I thought I was going to be receiving for her, right?
mm,
Also, extremely high level corporate background. And um, her message through my guides was take control where it is appropriate,
yeah,
where
yeah,
you feel the flow, right?
yeah,
Can you speak to
yeah.
that a little bit or?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I knew you could.
More intimately than you know, Teresa. Um, this is where we get into understanding the land of the ego. And we don't want to demonize the ego. The ego is our operating system. And the truth is, we cannot be here in a body on this planet moving through our lives without the ego. We cannot.
Yeah,
So, but the ego has some limitations. The ego has an MO, which is safety, security, comfort, and control.
yeah,
And anytime any of those things are threatened, that's going to send the ego into hyper alert awareness, to run interference, to get back in control, to feel safe.
yeah,
On a higher level, what control is really offering us for an invitation is a deeper trust in life,
yeah,
a deeper trust in the divine. And so I love what you're saying, right, about the polarity, because we don't want to just lay down. We can't just go all the way to the yin and lie on the couch and eat grapes and like think that our life is going to happen, because it's not,
No.
right? There is that walking the middle way, and
Yeah.
there's the both and we need the ego and all of its framework. But what we want is we want that to be in service to the highest part of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so last night I was reading in the Gene Key book, and it kind of took my breath away because, control can show up in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different
Mhm.
dynamics, as you were saying. But the root cause of it is not having trust in the divine. And I know for myself, as I walk the spiritual path and as I align myself with my own higher knowing and my own higher wisdom, it's got to all be about that trust in the divine and the trust
Mhm.
in the grander unfolding of the infinite intelligence that is everywhere present, and that I can get to remind myself it's smarter than me.
Yeah.
It's smarter than me and my little ego mind every day of the week, right? 24/7, 365. It's always going to be more intelligent than I am. And when my little ego self, can remember that, then I can just relax a little bit and I can say, oh, okay, I know there, like, this isn't going the way that I want it to go. This doesn't
Hmm.
look the way that I want it to look. This isn't unfolding the way that I would pick or choose or desire. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's not happening exactly how it's supposed to for our highest and best growth and learning.
Yeah. Yep. It's fascinating because um this takes me back to what we talked about before. You just take one step. You don't plan the whole journey. And the moment you take that one step, as you said, the landscape changes, and all of a sudden control morphs into curiosity
Yeah.
because the landscape has changed, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But we've got to keep that curiosity. And like that right there, this is where holding the beginner's mind is so important. And where
Yeah.
I think a lot of people trap themselves is they get fixated on it didn't go my way.
Yeah.
It's not going my way, right? So it must be going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, let's rethink that. Like let's open ourselves to like what is here for you. I'll give you a
Yeah.
perfect example. Like you and I were talking prior to our share here today, and I moved out of one back end technology system and into another. And so there's a lot of moving parts. I'm trying to figure things out, and I have a live monthly gathering on Zoom once a month called my Soul Gathering. It's part of my monthly membership, Ignite Your Light. And there's all kinds of ways that people get invited to this thing and how they show up to this thing. And I had on my calendar that it was at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And it was on my calendar at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And I had it in my damn little head that it was at 1 o'clock Pacific time. But literally, as things are unfolding, I'm realizing that everyone else has it at 3 o'clock Pacific time.
Oh,
All the
no.
communications say 3 o'clock. I've been telling everybody about it for 2 weeks. I've been telling them it's at 1 o'clock Pacific time. But Teresa, this was a perfect example of everything was already set. The stage was set. Everyone was supported to show up at 3 o'clock Pacific time, except for this one,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to force my way into something that I don't know if it was my future self who figured that out or some little angels I have around me. But when I first go into the panic, like, oh my God, I got to change everybody and change everything to get them to now come at 3 o'clock or get them to come at 1 o'clock. No, Donna, you just got to show up at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
One little change by one little person, me, instead of trying to move a whole ship that's already left the port and is out into the ocean.
Yeah. 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 Oh my gosh.
I know, it's cool. Let there be light.
Let there be light. Let me see if I can. Uh, there we
There
go.
you go. I love
Uh,
it.
the sun is out in Seattle. Can you tell? And I
I love
apologize
it.
for not closing the shade. So that is an excellent example of be curious about what you've received
Yeah.
and know that it's exactly what you need
Yes.
to unveil your next step. And I always look at those situations as in, specific to your example, there was somebody that needed to be there that couldn't be there at one,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they needed to be there.
Yeah.
They needed to hear
I
what
have the
you were going to
chills.
I know. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
And that's that letting go of control. That is the
Yeah.
I will receive what you gave me, universe, and take a step towards what you've just given me. Let's see what happens. I mean, the worst case scenario, you take a step back,
Yeah.
right? You just say,
Yeah.
oh, gee, I'm not going to, I don't know what to do about this. I'm
So
so
true.
sorry. We're going to ignore it. Yeah. Um, and I
But
love that
yes,
because, like you said, our brain contains this much information. It's so infinitesimally small in compared comparison to what the universe knows, right? What
right.
our soul knows. Yeah.
What our soul knows.
Yeah.
And, this goes back to the invitation around control and really deepening into that trust walk,
Yeah.
knowing that is unfolding exactly how it is meant to for everybody's highest good. And I don't think that any message can be more timely than this one at this time,
Yeah.
as we have so many
Yeah.
difficult things unfolding around the globe, around the planet. We're all sort of in this place of the unknown, and people feel the earth shifting beneath their feet. And we can't, what's that Einstein quote? We can't solve the problem at the same level of thinking at which it was created.
Yeah.
The ego wants to solve the problem, and the ego wants to get in there and get things handled and know that it took action to take control around things. When we can learn to step out of that entirely
Mhm.
and tune into the stillness, the silence, the quiet, the inner knowingness, we will receive the information that we need. We
Yeah.
will get the next step will be
Yeah.
shown to us.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest opportunity for all of us is to pull ourselves out of the habit of the going and the doing and the pushing and the striving and the forcing and the nonstop,
Yeah.
and stopping and coming into stillness. Nothing is going to serve us more greatly than that
Yeah.
in the coming years. In the coming years.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And it's the foundation of everything I teach in my book is finding stillness, finding that practice. Hold on one second. Okay. For everybody who's watching, I fixed it. Yes, it is all about tuning in and trusting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I actually wept last night because I have a client. She runs, she's a consultant for nonprofits, and she loves the details and the rush and the doing. And I've really been encouraging her to start a meditation practice. And she used to meditate, like it was in her history. And,
Yeah.
she got away from it. Anyways, last night she shared that this week she has been genuinely committed to her meditation practice again. And she was sharing with the whole group, I'm getting the downloads of what I need to do and where I need to be and how I need to go. And
Yeah.
and this is what happens.
Yeah.
But there's some sort of distrust that the ego has around that. And I think maybe the ego just feels left out. The ego
Yeah.
feels like, well, I wanted to do it. I wanted to be in charge. And we can work with ourselves to take dominion over our consciousness in such a way that we can get our ego to be in service to our soul's mission.
Yeah.
That's what we're all here for.
Yeah. And our ego is not the determinant. It has a
Right.
vote. And
Beautiful.
and it's important for us to make sure that our ego feels heard and loved and cherished, but
Yeah.
it only gets a vote.
Right. I like to say it doesn't have to be behind the wheel of the car. It's in the
Exactly.
passenger seat.
Yes. Or sometimes in the back seat. You know. Yes, I agree. And cultivating stillness is how we step into trust. Yeah.
Right.
Listening. The other thing that I heard that goes along with this that we do not practice well, and I include myself in that, is rest.
Mm.
Resting is a verb. I know, right? I heard that and I'm like, okay, that is now my slogan. And I used it throughout the holiday. I'm sorry, I'm verbing. I'm resting at the moment. It
Yeah.
helps get us off the wheel.
Last year, I had a really challenging year for many, many reasons. And my dear friend, Christy, who has a big coaching company, she kept saying, Shavasana, Shavasana. That's all you need, Shavasana. But I never did it. I never did it.
Yeah.
But when I first started my coaching practice, I would make it a point to do something on purpose to shift my vibration into one of play and lightness and joy and goofing off. And
Hmm.
so I promised myself that once a month I would like take a full day on, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday
Yep.
and go goof off somewhere.
Yeah.
And I had gotten away from that. And I'm happy to report that next week I'm going to goof off at Corcovado National Park, which is one of the most biodiverse, rich places on the planet here in Costa Rica. And my husband and I are invited with this great hotel under the brand of Soul Community Planet, which is called the Corcovado Wilderness Lodge.
Wow.
And they acquired the hotel, I think, a little over a year ago. And it's the only hotel that is actually inside Corcovado National Park. Today, they wouldn't let you build a hotel
Right?
there.
Yeah.
But so we're going to be with the tapirs and the monkeys and all the birds, and who else knows what other animals are going to go wandering by, because you're really like in the heart of Mama Gaia.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
fun. I'm excited.
It 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 diversifies perspective, doesn't it? It just
Yeah.
resets everything. I do the same. I call it my adventure day.
Yeah. Love it.
And the beautiful thing about living in the States is you get in the car and you drive 2 hours and you're in a completely different new place.
Right.
And I love to hike, so mountains, oceans, we even have deserts in Washington State. So I agree. What is your reset? What is your reset protocol? What are you going to do different that allows you to introduce a new energy? You have to, don't you?
Yeah, you have to. And it requires like creating a new habit. It really
Hmm.
does. And um, the practice that I teach is from the University of Santa Monica. We would say 33 days makes a good habit. And when I'm encouraging my very busy corporate high achieving women to begin a practice, I went to the Chopra Center after I had shoulder surgery and I participated in a program called Rest and Restore. And they gave this little jingle, RPM, rise, P, meditate. And Teresa, that has been my guidepost since 2013. I wake up, I go to the bathroom, and I sit down in my meditation space. And I'm very committed to my practice. Like, a lot has to happen for me to miss it because it's something that I consider non-negotiable
Yeah,
in my life, in the work that I do in the world. The way that I show up would be very different if I wasn't committed to this sacred time with the divine.
yeah,
So I give everybody this little tidbit, rise, pee, meditate. And just that action and creating the habit of like waking up, going to the bathroom, and finding a special place in your house, in your bedroom, whether you want to be in a chair, whether you want to sit on a cushion, whether you're lotus position on the floor, figure it out,
yeah,
set yourself up and just start going there. And as you work with your consciousness to get on board with what we're doing, because your ego is going to be like, hey, nobody's got time for this right now. And that's
yeah,
okay. It's part of it. It's part of how we can meet ourselves with
right.
love and compassion and gentleness. Like, I hear you. Thank you for letting me know. I know we have a lot to do. And we're going to sit here for 5 minutes and listen to ourselves breathe.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to interject here because I can hear a lot of people watching our conversation today. Meditation doesn't mean you have to sit on a poof and not move for an hour.
Right.
That unless you're comfortable with it, and a lot of people are, that
Yes.
that isn't what meditation has to look like.
Yeah.
It's about finding the meditative practice that works for you. For me, it's forest breathing. It
Mm.
is like I live by the lake and a river, and
Mhm.
every morning I head out there and I walk for an hour. And
Mm.
that walk allows me two things. It allows my mind free rein to go where it needs to go. And
Yep.
I open my channel and bring in information. The
Yep.
second thing is, for me, and this is my personal experience, it is a time when the universe communicates with me on things that I've missed.
Yes. Beautiful.
Uh, without exception, if the universe is trying to get my attention about a specific thing they want me to be aware of, they will
Like
send
having
a
a summit.
messenger. Yeah. It'll come, yeah. It'll come in the form of a person that crosses my path, but more often than not, it comes in the form of an animal
Mm.
that I will see that I don't normally see every day on my walk. We're not talking
Love
the
that.
gray squirrel, which is everywhere here. We're talking a kingfisher, a heron, an otter. We're talking something. Uh, Last week it was a possum.
I can't believe you just said kingfisher. That is the bird that correlates to gene key number 21, which is my life's work. The gene
Oh,
keys. Yeah, which is super interesting. But You're kind of clairvoyant, so thanks
Just a
for
little
that
bit.
little wink. That's a wink for me. That's a
Yeah,
wink for me,
yeah,
especially because that's what I'm contemplating right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I love
love that.
this, Teresa. And you're making such an exceptional point. And it's so important. It's like you've got to like this. You've got to want this. It's got to be something that you find sanctity in, and it's got to be delicious for you. So figure out what that looks like,
Yeah.
right? Figure out what that looks like. And I think the important piece of it is time with yourself,
Hmm.
time with spirit, time in silence.
Yeah. Agreed. Yep. Yeah. This has been an absolutely rich and delightful conversation, as
Well, you
always,
and I never
Donna.
have never have a problem trying to figure out what to talk about.
No,
Yeah.
we don't. We don't. I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I want to let everybody know to look in the show notes so you can find where to find Donna and the things that she offered. Will you share that quickly so that
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah. So I would like to gift everybody with my sacred reset meditation. And what makes it so special is the background music is my son, Everest, and uh, his girlfriend and our dear family friend, Suri, and their musical, I don't know, group is not probably the right word, called Harmony Divina. Everest plays the hand drum and Suri sings like an angel. And with this music as a backdrop, I channeled, it's less than 5 minutes, a sacred reset. And it's really beautiful. Like it really opens your heart and it will support you in relaxing the grip, right? Like opening your hand, opening your heart, letting your nervous system come back into equilibrium, allow your consciousness to open up and connect to the higher part of you. It's really very beautiful. So that is my gift to your listeners, the Sacred Reset Meditation. And you can just go to sacredresetmeditation.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Donna. I love
Thank
you.
you,
I
Teresa.
appreciate you.
Love you too. Thank you for having me.